If you had any doubt, you didn't even have to go through all that. And you should have just asked me about it.
What do you even mean by that?
It means that I was planning to already break up with you.
What? Does that mean you want to get a divorce?
Yes, that's what I mean. So that's why I always carried around this with me too.
Saying that, my husband Frank brought out some papers from his bag. It was the divorce papers. And Frank had already signed his part. My name is Allison. I am 29 years old and I work at a company. It has been 2 years since I got married to my husband Frank, who was the same age as me. Until recently, I thought I was going to live happily ever after with my husband. But then, I just had to see it. I saw a woman's name, which I have never seen before, floating on the screen of my husband's phone. It happened just when my husband was taking a shower. My husband had been reading a magazine until then and had placed his phone on top of a pile of books on the living room table. My husband has a habit of leaving books he has read untouched, and after a week or so, some of the books would naturally pile up. When I warn him about them, he puts them back on the bookshelf, but he has a tendency to be lazy like that. He left the books out again, huh? At that time, I couldn't be bothered to warn him again, so I tried to put them away for him. And since my husband's phone was in the way, when I moved the phone onto the table, the screen of the phone came on, and there I saw a notification that he got a text message. I saw a message under the name of a woman named Sarah, and I saw a message from Sarah which said, "I'm looking forward to seeing you tomorrow." Huh? Who is this? I looked at the screen and froze for a moment. But just then, I heard the door for the shower room open, and I quickly put my husband's phone back in its place. I couldn't even put the books away. My husband came out of the shower room with an unsuspecting look on his face and sat down on the couch. Then, as if he had noticed, he took the phone and looked at the screen. I was glancing at him from the kitchen so as not to be noticed, but my husband was looking at his phone with a little grin on his face. Wow, so he is cheating on me. So I officially requested an investigator to investigate so that I could get a solid evidence about my husband and his affair. And although I didn't want to believe it, it became crystal clear that my husband was having an intimate relationship with that woman named Sarah. He stayed at Sarah's house on his so-called business trips, and on days when he worked late and came home late, it looked like he went to a hotel with Sarah. I got even more depressed as the evidence of photos came out one after another. I am ashamed to admit that at that point, I still have feelings for my husband. So, I was willing to forgive my husband if he only cheated on me because he just lost to his temptation. I told my husband that I wanted to talk to him when he came home from work and sat him down in the living room. I showed him the photos I received from the investigator and asked him what this was all about. But shockingly, my husband answered calmly.
Wow, you used an investigator to check on me.
Huh?
If you had any doubt, you didn't even have to go through all that. And you should have just asked me about it.
What do you even mean by that?
It means that I was planning to already break up with you.
What? Does that mean you want to get a divorce?
Yes, that's what I mean. So, that's why I always carried around this with me too.
Saying that, my husband Frank brought out some papers from his bag. It was the divorce papers, and Frank had already signed his part. Why did you cheat on me? And you're saying that you want a divorce?
Why can't you even understand that?
Excuse me?
Because, you know, you never got pregnant, Allison.
What?
I'm not the type of person who's laid back enough to stay with a woman like that, if I think about the future. So, I thought it would be better to switch to another woman instead of you.
No way. But we've only been married for 2 years. In general, there are a lot of couples who goes through a period of time where they won't have kids yet, right?
So, I told you already. I'm not that laid-back type. Allison, you weren't trying hard enough.
How could you say such a terrible thing? Besides, making a baby isn't something that only the wife has to work hard for. It's something that the couple has to work together for, right? You're responsible for it too, you know.
What the hell are you even saying? How can that be? You have to admit that there's something wrong with your body, which is why you can't get pregnant. I mean, it's what my mother says too.
This has nothing to do with your mother, Frank. My mother-in-law, Jackie, used to annoy me every time she saw me, asking me if I got pregnant with her grandchild yet. When she said, "You must be one hell of a woman who can't get pregnant with a child even after 2 years." To me, I couldn't believe my ears. So, that's why I didn't really like Jackie. My husband defended me every time by saying,
Mom, don't be so hard on her.
But it seems that Jackie had recently began to brainwash Frank.
My mother also likes Sarah too. So, now, all I have to do is get a divorce with you, Allison.
Hey, wait a minute now. Does that mean that Jackie already knows about you cheating on me?
I mean, my mother has already met Sarah a few times. Sarah is 5 years younger than me, so my mother is happy that Sarah's young and that she has a good chance of being pregnant.
I didn't know where to begin anymore. I couldn't believe that a lot of things had already been discussed behind my back. Before I knew it, I had tears flowing down my cheeks. My husband looked at me with disgust.
Oh, come on. Don't tell me that you don't want to divorce, okay? I'm already ready to remarry Sarah. Well, I'm going back to my parents' house for a while, so please think positively about divorce.
With that, my husband started packing up his belongings. He didn't care at all that I was crying. I became emotionally unstable and spent a couple of days binge eating, vomiting, then binge eating again, and then vomiting again. Because of this, I got sick and had to go to the hospital. My head hurt and my stomach felt really heavy. When I went to the hospital to have some tests done, the doctor mentioned that I had not had my period and told me that I might be pregnant. The doctor also said that the nausea, which I thought was caused by binge eating and mental shock, could be due to pregnancy. I decided to go to the OB/GYN clinic to have it officially checked out, just to be sure. After the test at the clinic, I was told that I was actually pregnant. I had thought that my period came late due to irregular menstruation cycle and the fact that I was mentally ill because of what had happened. But I had no idea that I was really pregnant. When I learned that I was pregnant, I lost all my strength at once. I had no idea that I would find out that I was pregnant right after my husband and Jackie treated me as a woman who couldn't get pregnant and even divorced me because of that. Thanks to this happy news, I didn't care about my husband at all anymore. Maybe this is what it means to be a mother. It simply made me realize that I had to be strong for the sake of my baby. So, I should leave that scumbag asshole once and for all. I packed my bags and was ready to leave immediately. I explained the situation to my parents, and they agreed to let me live with them for some time while I took the maternity leave after the divorce. Then, a week after that divorce talk, my husband came home once.
So, have you properly made up your mind for us to get a divorce?
My husband said that to me as he looked annoyed. So, I got all my strength together and firmly replied to him, "Yes, I'm glad to get rid of a lousy, terrible man like you."
Oh, really? Then, please just get the hell out of here.
But before that, you have to promise me something, okay? I took out my voice recorder and pressed the record button. I'll file a claim for alimony for your affair and to your mistress too. My husband looked at me with disgust as I was recording, but to what I said he replied,
Okay, we'll pay the alimony.
My husband's family is rather wealthy as his father had already passed away, and he and Jackie had received quite a large inheritance. So, I guess alimony is nothing to them.
Are you satisfied then? If so, get the hell out of my house.
I'm not done yet. There's one more important thing.
Huh? What is it then?
I'm pregnant.
Excuse me?
So, you better pay the child support too, okay?
What? You really got pregnant?
Well, yes. I did get a checkup at the OBGYN clinic. My husband looked really surprised. I guess he was shocked to hear the news.
Is it really my baby?
Of course. Besides, I never had an affair unlike you. Anyway, you have to pay child support and promise me that you will never see my child and Jackie will never see my child either. To that, my husband looked really annoyed but agreed, saying,
All right then.
I was not sure if the recording was enough, so I asked him to write a memorandum.
Well, all I have to do is have a baby with Sarah.
I was angry that my husband didn't seem to be responding at all about my baby, but at least he has agreed to all my requests, so it was all good. So, like that, our divorce was finalized. I hired a lawyer and had the lawyer communicate about the alimony payment to Frank. Neither my ex-husband nor his mistress seemed to be particularly stubborn about anything and agreed to the payment. Later, I gave birth to a beautiful son and became a single mother. With the help of my parents, I worked hard at my job and spent happy days at home with my son. Then, on one weekend, Jackie suddenly came to my parents' house. What's going on all of a sudden? What is the meaning of this? You never told me you had a child. I want to see my grandchild. Excuse me? Jackie suddenly came charging at me, demanding to see her grandchild. At that point, it had been 2 years already since I divorced Frank. Why did she suddenly come to me? Now, wait a minute. I divorced Frank on the condition that you and Frank wouldn't see my son. That means that you have no right to see my son. Shut the hell up. I don't care about that. I have all the right to see your son because I am related to him. Hurry up and bring out your son. Huh? Bring out? Don't say it that way as if my son is a thing. Oh, that's enough. I'm going to call the police. Don't be stupid and just get the kid. I'm so glad I left the front door chained. If I had opened the door, Jackie would have rushed inside. Then, after a few minutes, the police car came along. Hey! Hey, you! Did you really call the police on me? I can't believe this. Huh? I didn't call them. When I turned around, my mother said, I called the police when she came to our house. Good job, Mom. Jackie was then taken to the police station. I went with her to the police station for questioning. After that whole incident, I received a text message from my ex-husband saying,
How could you call the police?
And another message which said,
Mom just wanted to see her grandson.
To that, I replied, Did you forget about what you wrote? Did you forget about the recorded data? If you want anything more from me, you'll have to go through my lawyer. It seemed like Frank read my message, but I never heard back from him again. But then, after that, Frank and Jackie insisted that they had the right to see my son through my lawyer. But because of the recorded audio as well as what my husband had written on the memorandum, their request was denied. My lawyer showed them the recorded data and the memorandum and told them clearly, You are not allowed to see the child because Frank had agreed to these terms of the divorce. Jackie seemed to jump on my lawyer at any moment and was screaming hysterically. Frank, on the other hand, was trying to cry so hard so that my lawyer would accept their request. My lawyer was also troubled by the fact that Frank had started to talk about his own life story, which my lawyer had not even asked him to talk about. According to the story, Frank's lover, Sarah, could not get pregnant. I don't know the details, but it seems that she experienced on getting pregnant when she was a lot younger and had several abortions, and was already in a state where it was difficult for her to get pregnant. Plus, Sarah hid that fact from Frank and married him. After 2 years of marriage, Sarah got fed up with Jackie constantly asking her if she got pregnant yet, which Jackie did the same with me. And so, Sarah finally revealed the truth to them. Jackie then got furious and told Sarah, Get out! Leave my son! And forced her and Frank to get a divorce. And at that time, Frank said,
I wish I had never divorced Allison.
And when Jackie questioned him about what he meant, he told her for the first time that I was actually pregnant before we got divorced. My ex-husband had kept it a secret from Jackie because he was expecting a child soon after he remarried Sarah. He should have just kept it a secret. But the fact that Frank and Jackie contacted me again was actually a good thing for me. After all, Frank had only paid child support for the first 6 months or so. So this time, when my lawyer met with them, I asked my lawyer to demand child support payment from them. The moment Frank was told about child support, he suddenly burst into tears and said,
No, it's...
I had asked my lawyer in advance to charge Frank mercilessly about the child support payment, so the lawyer strongly urged him to pay. My ex-husband reluctantly agreed, and since then he has been paying child support again. And because of what had happened, I put a restraining order on Jackie and Frank. They both seemed to be completely freaked out about it and stopped coming over and also stopped contacting me. For now, this will give me some peace and quiet for a while. A scumbag man like him and his annoying mother had made my life difficult, but I'll just be thankful that I've met my cute son. Isn't it a bit old-fashioned in terms of values to call someone a woman who can't get pregnant after just 2 years of marriage? And I think getting pregnant with babies are something that comes naturally, not something you can have if you pressure them or stress them out about it. Frank and Allison loved each other, got married, but I can't believe that Frank just switched to another woman just because Allison couldn't get pregnant. I thought, how could such a scumbag man like him get another woman, but that new woman seemed to be quite strange as well. Well, as it turns out, Frank got divorced twice, so it's what he really deserves. I hope Allison and her adorable son will make lots of memories and live happily ever after. Thank you for watching until the end. Please subscribe to our channel. We hope to see you in our next video.